Welcome to another episode of Dubs Doing Stuff. Today we're going to be replacing the main living room ceiling fan in our 2022 Host Yukon. We've got a few more videos that we're going to be releasing for this model. The fan in here is currently the MaxxAir 7500K, and we're going to be replacing the internal components with that from a MaxxAir 4000K. We'll also be installing a DC to DC converter right here. Looked at the dimensions when we bought this and they match, so this should plug right into place of the components for the original 7500. Should fit perfectly. We do have a 6200K model in our bathroom, which I installed. I replaced the loud RV bath fan that everyone's probably familiar with. We do like the MaxxAir fans. Those are really good. Anyway, we had some control board issues, and instead of buying another control board, we're going to replace the internal components with those from this 4000K. So while you're here, we're going to walk you through this process. Shouldn't be too difficult. And there you can see this is the 7500. It has the control boards over here. It also has the remote. See my extra wires hanging out here where I had installed a cheap control board from Radio Shack to manage the variable speed on this one, because this control board is stuck on high. As you'll read on the internet, most of these wind up becoming. So we'll be taking this whole thing out and replacing it with the guts from that 4000. The biggest thing we won't have is the automatic opening, but you know what? I've been doing it manually for so long, it just doesn't matter anymore. So the first thing we're going to do is twist these tabs. Got 4 of these up here to remove the screen, and they simply twist to the side, out of the way. Go ahead and move all 4 of those and drop the screen. Next step is to remove the plastic fan itself. Back out there. So held on by a little Allen set screw right here. And I believe it's 3/32 is the one I usually use, but just go through your Allen set and find the one that fits the best right in here. Just needs to be cracked loose so that it will drop this fan down. Now I'm going to go ahead and drop this outer frame here now, because I need to get to the wiring behind it. So it's just 4 screws going up into your ceiling, and this whole piece just pulls down. Okay, I usually use a manual screwdriver for shots like this, or for work like this, but today I'm going to use the electric just because I've been in here so many times. So you just drop these screws. Pretty easy. And then this piece just comes right down. Yours may be a little stuck as you get to it, but this one comes down so easily because I've done it so many times. Okay, so there's 4 screws here. I've already taken those out. See where I'm pointing? They're easy to see. They're silver heads. You'll also need to take out the screw holding on the crank knob, and then this just comes out. Now I've already got the wiring disconnected because of the other way that I had this set up. This just comes out. This is your main motor wire. I had a variable speed motor controller in here to run the fan this last summer, because this board is shot. So therefore I cut it. But we will be replacing all of this up here. Okay. All right, so we're gonna open up this fan box. Now, we got ours at Camping World in Montana, and they were kind enough to open this before we bought it, so I know that the guts of this fan will fit the one we have. It looks like most of these are interchangeable if you choose to go this way. Obviously we won't be able to use the roof vent cover, because that's not the same, but otherwise, everything in here should fit. Go ahead and turn this over, and you can see under here, this is exactly the same as what we were looking at in our camper with the 7500. So all we need to do is remove this part here, and it should go right in. Okay. So just like we took it out of the camper, we're going to disassemble right here and get the screen off of this fan, this new one. And again, this is the 4000K, so it's a little different design as far as the exterior lid and all that, but it is essentially the same unit. And just as we did inside, take the fan blade itself off as well. Again, you just have to crack the screw and the fan comes right off. And then we've got the 4 screws along with the knob for the lid. Take all those out. Now this lid does have the manual knob for lifting the lid. The one in our camper has the power knob, but there's really no difference when using one or the other, so we're just going to leave the power one up there. And these screws just come right out. Now we are going to leave the motor from the other fan up there. This is a 10-speed motor, just like the one that we're replacing, so it shouldn't matter. The controller should handle it. You see the control board's behind this panel. So really all this is replacing this unit right here. All this comes out. You can see the wiring here on the side. That's all we have to make up. This is the wire for the motor. Very simply comes apart. A little tug. I say with a little tug, just like that. We'll have to cut a wire tie, but otherwise, there's the circuit board and the wires you need. This is your power wire. Okay, so we've decided to remove the motor for lifting the lid because we don't like the little noise it makes when you still do it manually, so we're going to take that down. So it looks like there's 4 screws in here. There's more than 4. There's more than 4. There's 2 more over here. That's the cap on it. And then there's 1 more back here. You see that's completely out of there. And the replacement piece goes right back in its place. So this is the DC to DC converter that I purchased on Amazon. You can see it's got an 8 volt to 40 volt input and then a 12 volt 6 amp output. The fan says it consumes 5 amps, so this should support it just fine. And all this is stabilizes the DC voltage coming in to protect the circuit board. This was recommended by MaxxAir. I've had one on here before. I burned it up. So we're going to try this one. Okay, which one is this? Good. Okay, let's strip back the wires a little bit more from where they are. Got the ends crimped on. I'll tape up this one right here because this is the positive output, so it has a little protection on it. This is the negative input, so it's ground, it doesn't matter. Okay, just to show you what the voltages are here. So this is your negative lead, this is your positive. Look down at the meter. 12.8 volts. See the polarity is correct. So you know that the red band on the wire is positive and the white band is negative. You can see for the fan itself, the power input's labeled as positive, black, and the white then would be your negative lead. Ends are crimped on. You can see I do these in opposite patterns so you can't mess up the plug-ins. Then you go to stick them on up above. Here's everything connected. See the input and the output wires. And the circuit board wiring. All right, so upon further reflection and testing, we had to put the motor back in because apparently the adapter for the manual lid open and close does not automatically match across these two. So we had to put the motor back in to get a point to mount the little knob to open and close the lid properly. No big deal, but just so you know when you try this yourselves. Okay. I did a little taping here to protect my connectors that were a little exposed, so take care of that. Now, we're just going to push this DC to DC converter up in here. There is a lot of room back here. You can see my whole hand fits in there. Let's push our wiring back out of the way. The wiring up in here. Push everything back. We're going to connect our fan motor. And in the background that you didn't see as we unplugged the fuse to the fan itself. On our Yukon, it is the 6th fuse from the top, or the 6th fuse from the bottom, however you want to refer to it. Nope. Okay, so we're back up in here. We just left the motor, just plugged it into the control board. You can see our lid lifter is still right here. So now all we're going to do is put these screws in. Everything lines up. So you can tell this 4000K motor or assembly fits right into the bottom of a 7500. So replacing this is very easy. And on top of that, it's also very much cheaper than buying the 7500. So if you're having similar problems with your 7500 with it constantly blowing circuit boards, and you don't mind losing some of the features, which we don't, this is still a 10-speed control board, 10-speed motor. Everything else is exactly the same, and it was less than half the money. Alright, and here's everything back together. You can see our knobby works correctly. Closed. And back open again. You just have a little resistance from the motor, not a big deal. Okay, so you see we got the fan back on in here. There's a little set screw with your Allen wrench right here. There's a little flat spot on the pin coming down from the motor to set that with. And we're going to give it a quick test before we finish buttoning everything up here. So we'll turn it on. Fan's running, we'll speed up. And we'll speed back down. And we'll switch speeds on here. Go ahead and hit that now. And there goes the other way. And again, this board here is designed to control the 10-speed motor, which is what we have. I guess the motor doesn't care which speeds it is, but you see that it's all working. So all's well. We'll finish buttoning this up. And here it is, fully assembled. You see this piece here was one of the last ones to go on, and then the screen. So we'll turn it on again, just to give it a test. And blowing in, reverse speed, or reverse draft, exhaust. And we're doing exhaust. Everything's working. So there you go, a 4000K MaxxAir fan, guts replacement in place of a 7500. Get rid of that control board that keeps failing.